Great. Welcome, everyone. It's good to have you all here. This is going to be a webinar on the Scale-Up Networks, just an introduction, because obviously you showed interest in taking part of the program. So I wanted to do some brief introductions first and welcome you, and then we're going to go into the actual program itself, because that's why you guys are here. So so I want to get to the end quite briefly, so we can have some questions and some discussions, any doubts you still have. So perhaps I start with myself. So I'm Carlos Impolio. I work at the business school at Brookes. I'm a senior lecturer in innovation and enterprise. And I do a lot of this externally facing work with my students, mostly master's students and MBA, but I also do a lot of work with local businesses, enterprises, local leaders and entrepreneurs in programs like Help to Grow and the Scale Up Network, apart from my research, which is also in business innovation. So perhaps we can go around to see who is in the room. Mona, if you just would like to introduce yourself, and then we can go around.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Mona Gherkin. I work in the business and external engagement team at Oxford Brookes Business School within the university. So part of what I do is help market and recruit for some of our courses, so more specifically for our Grow Your Business courses, one of those being our Scale Up Network. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell. And if I could just pass it on to Andrew.
Hi, everybody. My name's Andrew Lyons. I'm a program manager for the external engagement team within the business school. And what we do is connect businesses with not-for-profits, international organizations, local organizations, and try and link you businesses with cutting-edge research and expertise that exists within the university. One of the key programs that we're responsible for is the Scale Up Network, and that's why we're here today. And shall I pass it over to, who have we got here? Ben.
Hi, everyone. Thanks very much. Nice to meet you all. Good to see you again, Carla. I'm CEO and co-founder over at Sunbear BioFuture, who are based in the Bioinnovation Hub next to Brookes Building. And we're producing alternative fats and oils using yeast and precision fermentation to produce alternatives to palm oil, cocoa butter, and other highly impactful fats and oils on the planet. Over to someone else.
June?
Yeah, hello, my name is June. I've been actually around Oxfordshire since 2013, and after that, so yeah, my background is in synthetic biology and like systems biology, so I did a lot of like biostatistics and informatics analysis for my degrees and PhD. And after that, I'm now based in both Oxford and London, working for a intellectual property firm called Kelty. And I mean, not only because I live in St. Clement's, like which is right next to you guys, but also we're currently working with Coding Bio, like one of companies based in Brookes Enterprise Centre. So I was just naturally interested in like following up on this seminar and session. So yeah, great to meet you all.
Thank you. And G8?
Sorry, Carla. My name's actually Arshad Ali, and I'm actually a kind of a pond life when it comes to technology. And I don't know how to change it. And I should be able to change it to my name, but for some reason, my name's Arshad Ali. The things to maybe remember is I'm actually an ex-Oxford Brookes boy, graduated in 1983. And in the last X years, I've had some interesting conversations with Giles, who I know is no longer with you. So I'm pleased that I think there's somebody else, I think Andrew, somebody else that's kind of, doing the external stuff. Currently, before I became current, I basically worked in corporate life for about 35 years. I was working out in Manhattan for a large pharmaceutical company. And if you know Manhattan and pharmaceutical, you know exactly which company it is. But currently, I'm a non-executive director, CEO for a global mentoring company that specializes in corporate mentoring. And I've had various dialogues with the Brookes guys over the years, and always keen to offer any services around, you know, practitioner lecturing. And my speciality is business. So I'm really keen, Carla, business innovation, all these business entrepreneurs online. I'm really looking forward to this session. Thank you.
Thank you. And we've got a new joiner. Unai, are you there? I don't know if he's there. Is from our enterprise center, I think. But anyway, okay, we can get started. I just wanted to very briefly invite Andrew for just to comment a little bit about our external engagement activities. Andrew?
Thank you, Carla. Yeah, as I touched on briefly in the introduction, I'm a program lead within the external engagement team at Oxford Brookes. And strategically, one of the most important services within that remit is the Scale Up Network. So the purpose of the external engagement team is to connect businesses, not-for-profits, and other organizations with the expertise, research, and talent within the university for joint benefit. We work locally, nationally, and internationally to create opportunities for collaboration, knowledge exchange, and growth. And Scale Up Network is a really good example of that. At Brookes Business School, we support businesses in 4 key ways, as shown on this slide in front of you now. And I'm very briefly going to go through these 4 areas, 4 key strength areas, if you like, of the business school that we provide as services regionally, nationally, internationally. Firstly, we offer business growth programs. That's why we're here today, because the Scale Up Network is one of the flagship offerings in this space. This cohort will be, I guess, the 7th time we've run this program. It's always been incredibly well received, and I'm proud to offer it to the biosciences community today. Secondly, we help organizations develop their people through bespoke training programs. That's in quite a big variety of ways. Thirdly, and this is increasingly popular, we offer collaborative access to our students to bring new ideas, energy to businesses through work placements and projects, even via various types of employment like knowledge transfer partnerships. And lastly, we connect businesses with just quite simply the academic experts that drive innovation and problem solving for their businesses. The Scale Up Network is a great example of how Oxford Brookes, how we help ambitious businesses overcome challenges, unlock new opportunities. If you're looking for practical support, if you're looking for expert insights and a strong peer network in this sector, this program is a powerful space to develop you and your organization. What's especially cool about this particular cohort that kicks off later in March is that for the first time ever, we are offering a bespoke program for the biosciences sector. To tell you more about the program itself and why it's special, I'm going to hand back to Carla.
Thank you, Andrew. And I just would like to plug in a few 3 modules that I do working with our students. I'm just going to plug them in case you're interested. I run a semester-long consultancy project with my master's students. There is a much shorter version of that with MBA students that run an innovation and lateral thinking module. And I also do a business challenge week, which runs in June this year, which is a week-long multidisciplinary from across faculties. And we also have international students coming, and they will work on any challenges that your business is having. And that can be more technical because it's multidisciplinary, so not necessarily only business related, but can be a bit more specific to your needs. Just very briefly to plug in those, and that's just me. Other colleagues run different modules with students, but it's just an opportunity there for you guys. So what is the Scale Up Network? Well, it's a very, as Andrew was saying, is one of our flagship programs for more of a peer-to-peer development, if you like. So you work in small groups, maximum 10 people, and it's really the ultimate aim is to enhance your leadership and management capacity to grow, to scale up. And that's the whole point of it. I will go into more details on how it works in practice, but it provides a co-production of solutions, if you like. It's facilitated, but you co-produce those solutions with your peers. So it stimulates this collaboration and innovation and growth within your business. So how does it work? So there are two main elements to it. You learn from experts and academics, but you also learn from your peers. There is a mix of online and in-person workshops. So you're going to be meeting 6 times over 4 hours each workshop across 6 months. So basically we meet more or less once a month for our workshop, 4-hour workshop, and you'll have an opportunity to bring any challenge that you're facing to the group. You work in an action learning set. So you bring that challenge to the group and you co-create solutions to that problem. You go away for that month, you apply the actions that you decide with your team, and you come back the next month and give a feedback on how things go. So as I said, there are 2 main elements to the program. One is the action learning set. So you have the opportunity to bring that issue and co-create solutions with your set. And you harness that thinking and insights from your peers. So you go away from that session with a set of actions, if you like. Can be 1 or 2 or 3, can be something quite small or quite a major change. And then you come back and report on how things go. The second main element is an expert input that you have on every session. So we have an experience, either academic within within Brookes, or an external expert that will come and do an hour's talk and discussion about a specific topic. Now, as we meet, we have 6 sessions. We normally have maybe 2 or 3 sessions already set up for you. But also you have the opportunity to choose what topics, what areas do you want to talk about. So if we do an exercise in the very first session where we're going to come up with perhaps challenges around a discipline that you're facing, and we can bring an expert to do a talk about that particular topic. So what is this action learning that I'm talking about? The action learning set is a management method, and it works by doing things. So you're working on a real problem. So these are not case studies. You bring your issue, and you focus on co-creating solutions with your action learning set, which is your group, and you implement those solutions. So the premise of the action learning is that there can be no learning without action. So as I said, you're going to be working in your small group, which is usually 8 to 10 people. It's facilitated, so there's a structure to it, which is very simple, straightforward, but very effective. And you tackle these problems that you're having, or things that you've been doing and you're not getting any results. And the whole idea is to to develop solutions with your peers. People learn from attempting to change things. So sometimes you're stuck into a way of doing things, or you're too involved in the business and you don't have this opportunity to reflect or to accept feedback and to discuss things. So it's an opportunity to come out of that day to day and think differently. And that says involves doing something other than what you've been doing currently in order to grow. I think I'll leave questions to the end. Just a few things to consider. So the premise again is that people learn best when working on real problems. Obviously, you bring in your challenges. So as we meet 6 times, usually each one of you will have a couple of opportunities to bring a problem to the group. you learn best when you share your feedback. So there's a lot of opportunity to ask questions, to clarify things, and then a lot of time for reflection as well and sharing. And finding the right problem is as important as solving it. So sometimes, as I said, you're doing things a certain way, and it's difficult to look from an outsider. And a lot of the time, you might notice that you might even be from a different industry, but you are actually facing very similar issues. And sometimes it's nice to see, to get ideas on how you can do things differently. And you are the expert. So when you bring your issue, you are the expert in that issue, and people will work with you. In terms of the expert input, we had a variety of experts before. Some topics that were included previously, things around entrepreneurial leadership, overcoming barriers to implementing strategy, performance management, and then things like financial and non-financial KPIs, and power, how to get it, retain it, and use it ethically. This, as I said, these areas we will come up with whatever your needs are for your action set, and then we can come up with topics and source speakers accordingly. We might have one or two already in place, but it's down to you and your needs and the needs of your team as a whole. And that's a nice also discussion point for your whole program. There are some criteria for joining, and that is that your business employ between 5 and 30 people, so it's targeted at SMEs. Be able to demonstrate growth potential within your current business models. I'm not entirely sure how that is done, and work in and around bioscience field. So I believe before there was more of a mix of industries, but this particular cohort, we're focusing on biosciences, and hopefully we'll start quite soon. These are the current dates for our next cohort. So we start not far from today on the 18th of March. And those are the sessions that we have booked so far. So roughly once a month, sometimes maybe 6 or 7 weeks apart, and a mix of face-to-face and online, which feedback from the past is quite a nice balance. So those are the dates. How to join? So I think you probably know this information already, but it's the prices are there for Oxfordshire businesses or non-Oxfordshire businesses, slightly different. There is also a QR code that you can go straight into the form to join or register your interest, actually. Let's have a look. If you have any further questions, I'm sure you already know our email address, but also you have a QR code there. Have a look. Oh, Mona also put the link in chat. So it was very quick, brief around the program. So I would like to, probably you guys have some questions or some comments. So I will stop sharing, and then we can go into more of a plenary kind of room. Thanks, guys. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question about some of the slides. So you mentioned expert help, and considering that this session is like dedicated to biosciences related companies, so is there any specific types of expert that you have invited in relation to biosciences, or how was it different from like other social enterprises or etc.? Yeah.
Yes, the experts are usually not related to the industry, although that might be able to be arranged. I don't know, because we never had something so specific. So the experts are usually related to, for example, marketing or brand management or leadership. So they are more management topics, if you like. So yeah, that was but I don't know, maybe it's possible to have something that is more specific to the sector. I think it should. Yeah. Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. I've got another question if that's okay. Yeah. So about the criteria for joining the program. So does it have to be a established business? Like, is there any like minimum bar in terms of like how you've mentioned like at least 5 people, in between 5 and 30 people being employed in the business, but in terms of the progress and then, you know, the stage of development of the company, is there any limit? Yeah.
I don't think so. Is
Okay.
that anything, Mona or Andrew? No. I think the requirement is mainly around the size in terms of number of employees. Is that right? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, Carla, if I can just come in. Arshad, aka G8 Consultants, just a comment, Carla. Thank you for sharing, you know, that kind of nice kind of pitch almost in terms of the service. It looks great. You know, it's clearly, Carla, you know, well thought in terms of structure. I'm on kind of some other similar sort of funnel of platforms, similar sort of things, you know, CEOs get together, they talk to each other, peer group, whatever. But I think yours is more structured, clearly, for obvious reasons. And I think the additional value add I see, Carla, you know, looking at what's happening in the market out there is the academia spin in it, where the other platforms I'm on, they're kind of, you know, a lot of people are academic background, but they're more into the entrepreneurial, you know, SMEs sort of space. And my background on that side, Carla, is very much around, you know, the Help to Go program, which I know you guys are strong on. Yes. My ex dealings with Frank and others that used to set up similar sort of programs like this. So I think what you've got is that something really nice and tight, it's very nicely structured. And I think there's a space for it. And, you know, the costings is very reasonable as well, because I know what the costings are in the private as opposed to yours. You mentioned something about NGO earlier on, not for profit. Just comment on that a bit more. And June's talking about, you know, some sort of, you know, organization. Are you looking specifically at kind of NGO type organizations, or is it, what's the profile that's excluded from this particular platform? Carla, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, no, I think, oh, thank you very much. And if you did the Help to Grow, then this format is a little bit similar to the peer-to-peer sessions they have, but as you said, is much more structured and formalized. So there is and that's on purpose, and it works really, really well. In terms of the sector, maybe Andrew can talk a little bit about, I mean,
I can talk about that if you want. So I mentioned that I was talking about the external engagement team. Yeah. So the external engagement team, part of its vision and value is to integrate with organizations outside of Brookes. Now, if you look at a lot of our mission and vision based stuff at Brookes, it's about being socially and economically progressive in our region, nationally, but also globally. We do work with NGOs, we work with not-for-profits. We don't prioritize them especially. One of the reasons I was brought in is because I come from an NGO background, and we're trying to work more and more with socially, economically, humanitarianly progressive organizations. So yeah, strategically, it is a thing we're trying to do. Scale Up Network is not just about scaling up private income-driven organizations, but organizations that are trying to further and advance our understanding of, for example, biosciences. It's another good example. It's not just about organizations that are about generating profit. So lots of organization types fall inside of that. And it'd be interesting to see if the biosciences one is populated by a mix of backgrounds of people, i.e., are they coming from private bioscience organizations? Are there any you know, public sector ones? Because we have quite strong links with the NHS as well. We might be talking within them, because there's a lot of practical bioscience tech organizations that work with Brookes, so we're talking to them as well. But yeah, NGOs I let slip really because it's a strategic direction for the external engagement team more than anything else.
Thank you for that, Andrew. That's kind of really clear. Because I think, Carla, coming back, I was on some platform which was more kind of startup tech startups, and I think the question I think June raised indirectly was recently that organization or that group, our peers, have evolved to specifically healthcare sector, because there was a feeling that yes, you're right, Carla. Business challenges are business challenges, whatever you do, even in NGOs. And I was with a deaf group recently, only last week, doing some work with them. And surprise, surprise, their challenges were business challenges. However, I think when you get further up in terms of that growth phase, I think people are looking more for industry specific know-how, tacit knowledge, as opposed to what's documented and what everybody talks about. The problem solving of the consultancy process is probably similar wherever you go. But when you have somebody who's industry specific, so, for example, who's somebody who's got deep expertise in just pharmaceuticals, and I was advising a kind of a cannabis company in the UK. They're interested on moving from, kind of this sort of cannabis to medicinal cannabis. So they're looking for something very specific as part of the Help to Go program. Mm-hmm. I think that may be something, Carla, and I think you've said it. It's a flexible program. And if we need to bring in an expert, June, we'll bring in an expert. If we can, we will. And I think, that would be the additional value add. So, Andrew, thank you.
No, just to build on what it's Ashad, isn't it? Or to build on what Ashad said. So, June, I was going to rewind to your point, actually, because interestingly, when we decided that we were going to focus Scale Up Network this time around on biosciences, what you mentioned absolutely came up. So we have an opportunity to put sector experts of certain disciplines in front of this cohort. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to do that exclusively, but we will look into what opportunities we have to do that. I think there comes a point whereby we look at if the needs of the cohort are around, for example, brand development. So like Carla touched on brand development. Is the strength of the university around brand development, does it exist in an academic inside of healthcare and the sciences, or does it exist in the business school? Because if actually it exists in the business school, and that's where the methodologies and the expertise is, it will be someone from the business school that delivers it. And I would say rightly so. So I think we're going to look at the strengths of the internal portfolio and put that in front of the cohort. That's the plan.
Also, in terms of different sources of the startups who is going to onboard on this cohort, I thought of a few companies in Oxford. I'm not sure if they've got to the level where they've registered or anything like that, but just wanted to mention that because I was also involved in different not only university related but also private incubators, and there are people who are kind of independently working on their own startups and looking to basically for services that you're providing explained in this seminar. So yeah, I can reach out to them if they're available.
Oh, would you? Mona's very helpfully in the chat put a really useful email address, which is our group team email address. If you wouldn't mind after this meeting just dropping a line there, we'd be happy to pick that up with you. And if you give us some links and stuff, we can provide you with whatever you need, or we're happy to take it on. But finding the right people at the right stage is really important to us, as opposed to just spamming everybody. The university isn't in this to make profit. That's not what we do. Our purpose is beyond that. So if we can achieve it by reaching the right people, that's what we'll do.
Perfect.
Yeah. Sorry, Carla. And Andrew, if I can just kind of just come back to what you just said there. If there's any time that, as an ex-Oxford Brookes guy, if you ever want to spam me, Andrew, by all means do. Mona, I know of old. We met at the open day back in whenever it was, Mona. So great to see you again. So if there are opportunities, particularly around life sciences and healthcare, and particularly pharma, more than happy for you to spam me, Andrew. And if I can help out my old studies. I still recognize the library. It hasn't changed that much. It'd be great and it'd be an honor to provide some support. And I recently did some work. This is not a PR thing, Carla, for myself, but I wanted to take the opportunity. I did some modest work with Nicole, who's in your kind of senior academia side. And I think we put a good little program together with Andrew, with an NGO. Okay. So I'm super excited, and I hope the master students does a great job. And they may even invite me on the panel. I don't think they will, but they should, when the presentation happens on the readout. So I'm super excited, Andrew and Carla and Mona as well. If there's any opportunities, you want to spam somebody, more than happy to spam. I'm living about an hour and 15 minutes away. I'm in Worcestershire. I am retired, but more than happy to drive down to Cowley Road and come up to Headington again and, visit the shops, which are a bit more sophisticated than they were in my days. So anyway, Carla, sorry, that was me yackering on. Back to you, Carla. Thanks.
Thank you so much. No, that's very helpful. I actually might spam you myself with some other opportunity.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And interesting enough, my offices, Carla, are actually in Shanghai of all places, and they're always on my case. Like if there's anything we can do, connection. And I spent some time talking to Judy in the mentoring coaching space, because I'm in the mentoring space, but unfortunately there was so much going on at Brookes and with Judy as well. We decided to pause on that. But any opportunity, all going well, I'll be there. All going well with the reason. And it's great. June's talking about biosciences and what have you. I've got a mentee who wrote to me overnight, who's doing biomedical sciences at Surrey, and she wants to, get some work experience somewhere. So I'm trying to figure out how can I support that person. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you, Carla.
Thank you so much. Okay, guys, if there's no further questions, we can wrap up. I think Mona will be sharing the recording anyway, right? So I do hope to see you all on the 18th of March.
I also shared my email address as well, so if anyone wants to send anything. So yeah.
Thanks, June. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Carla. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.